Hello everyone. In part 1 of the Azure backup video, we saw how we can install MABS agent on our on-premise Hyper-V VM and backup files, folders, system data to the Azure Backup Recovery Service Vault. In this video, we will see how we can install Azure Backup Server on our on-prem, install MABS agent on it, and all other machines which we have on our on-prem will have MABS agent, and how we can back up the data to cloud using backup server. This is my domain member server which is running Windows 2016. On this server I will install Azure Backup Server. But before I do that, I need to create Azure Recovery Service Vault in Azure. Here I am on my Azure portal. So first of all, I will create a resource group, and under it I will create a Recovery Service Vault. Resource group has been created. Now we will create a recovery service vault in it. So I'll go to new, search for backup, create a backup and site recovery. I will create it in Australia Southeast location, which is closest to me. Vault has been created, so I will go to the resource and go to backup, and I will select on-premise. Now here I will select Microsoft SQL Server, because in case I select files and folders and system state only, then it will give us the option to download the MABS agent. But if I select SQL Server, SharePoint, Exchange, it will give us the option to download backup server, because these three things we can only backup using backup server. So here I will click on download. I will select all of them, click on next. I'm going to pause the video as the download is going to take some time, and come back once the download is finished. The download has been completed, so I will go ahead and start the installation. So it is extracting the files in my C drive. I will click on setup.exe, then click on Microsoft Azure Backup Server, click on next. I will do a prerequisite check. It's just a warning, so I will go ahead and click on next. Install new instance of SQL Server with this setup. Check and install. It gives me two errors. .NET 3.5 SP1 is not installed, and missing prerequisite has been installed, requires a restart. So I'm going to install .NET 3.5 SP1 and then restart the computer and run the setup again. So I'm going to pause the video for now and come back once I reboot the computer and install .NET 3.5. The system has been rebooted and I ran the wizard again, and this time I clicked on check again, and it says this computer meets the software and hardware requirements for MABS. I'll go ahead and click on next. I will leave the default path as it is. Here it will create a local account on the machine and asking me to specify a password for that. Okay, now the installation has started. I don't have any proxy setup, so that's fine. I'll click on install. I will pause the video and come back once the installation is done. Now it is asking us to specify the vault credentials file. So this vault credential files we will download from our recovery service vault. I will go to Azure portal. I'll go to my recovery service vault. I will go to backup, select on-premise, select SQL, SharePoint, prepare infrastructure. So it has been downloaded, and now I will specify it in my setup. Click on next. We will generate a passphrase to encrypt and decrypt backups, and we will save it on our computer. Next. Now it is registering the server with the Azure backup. The backup server has been installed and it's asking me to restart. So I will restart the server and pause the video and come back once it's done. Our server has been rebooted. Microsoft Azure backup server is showing up on the desktop. So I will open the console and then add a data disk attached to my server for local backup copy, because firstly it will save locally, then it will send it to Azure. So I will go under management, click on disk storage, click on add, and this is a D drive volume which I already created. I will add this one, click on OK. Now I have added a 50 gig drive to the Azure backup server. Next step would be to install the agent on my production servers on which I want to configure backup. So I will go to production servers, click on add. So that would be my Windows server. The first option is to install the agent. This is recommended for computers that are not behind firewall. So my system is not behind a firewall on which I want to configure backup. So I will select that. It is showing all my computers in my AD. So this is my SCCM server which I want to configure for backup. I will specify the credentials for an account which has local admin rights on that machine. So now the installation is in progress. This is my SCCM server on which I pushed the agent from Microsoft backup server, and I could see that it has got installed. So let us go back to our backup server now. So it's also showing success here. I am going to close it now. Now we will set up the backup for our server. So I will go to protection. I will click on new. I will create a protection group for servers. And add my backup in this one for new SCCM server. I have a new folder in C drive which I will backup. So I will select that and click on next. Protection group is a collection of data sources which have common backup and restore settings. So in our case we have only one server, new SCCM, so I am going to add it to this protection group for the backup of C new folder. If you have more than one server which you want to backup with similar backup and restore settings, so you can add them to the same protection group. Here it's asking me for the protection method. So the first one, short-term protection, would be on disk, and the second one would be on Azure online one. I cannot uncheck my disk one and only backup to Azure. It won't allow me, so it will do a short-term backup on the disk, the 50 gig drive which we created, and then on to Azure. Here I will select the retention range, the synchronization frequency, which would be 15 minutes. By default it will create 3 recovery points every day using which I can restore, so that's fine. I will go to next. So here I will select my target storage on my local server, which would be my D drive. Here it is asking me how our replica would be copied to the DPM server, so I will leave it automatically over the network. It's asking me when you want to run a consistency check, so I will leave it to run a consistency check if our replica become inconsistent. C new folder is what I want to backup. Now it's asking me for my online backup schedule, so daily is fine at 9 p.m. Now this is for my online retention policy to Azure, weekly, monthly and yearly. So defaults are fine. I will click on next. How it would copy the data to Azure, so automatically over the network is fine for me. Now the group is being created, so I will pause the video till the time it gets created. Protection group now has been created. It close. Now the protection status is showing okay. We will go under monitoring here and check all our jobs. So it has created the replica and recovery point, and we will see the scheduled jobs. So in the scheduled job we can see at 5:04 p.m. it will create another recovery point, and it will do backup to Azure at 9 p.m. I will modify the protection group setting and schedule the online backup at an earlier time. So instead of 9 p.m. I will specify 4:30 p.m. so that it does the backup now. Close. Now let's go to monitoring, all jobs, scheduled jobs, and it's showing 4:30 p.m. online recovery point. So let's wait few minutes for the backup to start, and I'm going to pause the video. At 4:30 the Azure backup has started. Backup to cloud has been completed now. If we go to our Azure recovery vault, we could see that under backup count it's showing Azure backup server. So in this video we saw how we can backup our on-premises workloads to cloud using MABS and Azure backup server. In my last video we saw how we can backup an on-premise workload using MABS agent, and we see that there are a lot of differences here. Using MABS agent you can only do files, folders and system state data backup, but Azure backup server gives us the capability to back SQL Server as well. However, Azure backup server has more requirements, like you need to set up a server as Azure backup server in your on-prem. You need to have local storage attached to it. The third option is to use DPM server, but for that you need licenses, and it can provide you additional capability wherein you can save the data on tape drives as well. Also, the DPM server you can set up in a primary and a secondary server configuration. So if your primary server goes down, the secondary server does the backup. Another option is to use third-party agents like Commvault. In this case you will install Commvault agent on your on-premise VMs, and they will save their data on the cloud blob storage. They will not use recovery service vault. They will save it on the blob storage, and you will have to manage the storage account yourself on cloud. I hope you liked my video, and please subscribe and press the bell icon for my channel, and I will see you in my next video. Bye bye.